Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the STP training webinar, 40 plus of the best pre-testing tools in 60 minutes. Our speaker for the day is Jess Lancaster. I'm Smita Mishra, a tester myself, and I'm very excited to host you all and Jess on our STP trainings. So before we get started with Jess, I wanted to share a quick information with all the testers who have joined us. I would like to believe that since you are here, you are interested in learning and growing your skills in automation as well as testing in general. Besides webinars, conferring is another one such unique way of learning where speakers and attendees both learn from each other. And we have our conference Fall 2017 STPCon coming up in the Washington, D.C. area from September 22nd through 29th this year. Typically, our conference has over 16 workshops and over 40 sessions spanning across various formats like case studies, hands-on exercises, and tool demos, which means a lot of opportunity to learn and teach. So the good news is that our call for papers are still open until the 15th of April. Though it is only a couple of days away, but if you have something interesting and ready, hurry up and submit it. Also, friends, keep an eye out for the super discounted fees for the early bird registrations that will open up soon. Be sure to check out stpcon.com where you can learn more about the conference. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Look for @SoftwareTestPro on both of these social networks. Another quick piece of information for you. There is an upcoming webinar, Efficiencies in Testing, by Melissa Tondi on 26th April. Do get out there and register. All right, so let's get started with the webinar. We're happy to have Jess with us today. Jess Lancaster is the QA Practice Manager at TechSmith, the makers of Snagit, Camtasia, and other visual communication software applications. He has over 18 years of testing and test leadership experience with government, financial insurance, and commercial software organizations. Jess speaks regularly on software testing topics at local meetups, conferences, and workshops. He has also served as adjunct faculty for software testing at Lansing Community College and is the co-founder of Lansing Area Software Testers. So right before we start, a few housekeeping points. All the attendees shall remain in muted mode throughout the webinar. You can type in your questions and share them with us through your question or chat box, whichever appears on your version of GoToWebinar. We shall take them up after Jess is done with his presentation. The webinar shall be recorded and posted on the Software Test Pro site for the attendees to go through them later. All yours, Jess. Let's get started.
Thanks, Mishra. I really appreciate the opportunity to get together with you and the listeners here at STP and to share out 40 of the best free software testing tools in only 60 minutes. So while we're about 4 minutes in, we better get the show on the road. So I'll go through a little bit of an introduction. As I said, my name is Jess Lancaster. I'm the practice manager for TechSmith. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess C. Lancaster or find me on LinkedIn at Jess Lancaster. All right, so I work for a company called TechSmith. And we make the tools that people love. So a lot of tools that are used in both education, information technology, training, and learning environments, governmental organizations, a wide variety of companies use our tools. So you may be familiar with things like Snagit for image and video capture, Camtasia for screen recorder and video editing, TechSmith Relay as our enterprise video solution. We also make JING, which is a free screen capture utility. We have screencast.com for hosting of images and videos, Moray for user experience and market research, and a whole host of other tools that I don't have time to get into because we only have 60 minutes. So let's get moving. All right. So here's the fine print with this presentation. 2 asterisks with best and tools. So when I say best, I mean my judgment based on this moment in time through research, my experience, and recommendations from other testers I deeply respect. So when I say best, that's what I mean. Also, tool, we'll pull the definition from Merriam-Webster. Something such as an instrument or apparatus used in performing an operation or necessary in the practice of a vocation or profession. So we're going to apply this broad definition of a tool to how testers can improve their skills, get the job done, and be efficient using free tools. All right, so let's move into what the presentation looks like. So I did a couple of minutes on my intro. We're going to go through the process of my best tools. We're also going to look at some best tool shareouts, and I'll talk to you about that in a moment of how you can share those with us, because this presentation takes a lot of effort to get over 40. And so if we have audience participation and people sharing out those tools, Smita and I can go over those at the end of the presentation. And we'll save some time for questions as well. This is a rapid fire presentation, so people ask, Jess, how can you cover 40 tools in just 60 minutes? Well, we covered 3 key points on these tools. What kind of need does it fulfill for our testers? What purpose does that tool serve? And what can you do with it? So what kinds of things can I do with these tools that I'm learning about today, and where you can find that tool. So while we will be going through rapid fire on these tools, please make comments in the comment section, the chat section, about the tools, and you can share out your ideas as well. And by the way, be on the lookout for Tim the Toolman Taylor, because when he shows up on a slide, it means these tools are my most favorites, my best of the best. So keep an eye on Tim showing up throughout the slideshow. All right. As I said, we need your help. So if you want to share your free tool recommendations in the webinar comments, you can do that by doing the same format that I'll be using. So you don't have to wait until we're all done. You can get those posted on there as we're going through the process. As Smita said, this will be recorded for you to take advantage of later. So I want to hear about, if you have a tool to share, the tool name, what kind of tester need does it fulfill, what can I do with that tool, and tell us where we can find it. So this list is ever growing the more I present this information and share with others. So let's get the show on the road, shall we? All right, I'm going to get my stopwatch ready here and be mindful of the time, and we will move on through these tools. All right, I've categorized the tools into a variety. I've got thinking tools, automation tools, test management tools, a variety of different types of tools. So we're going to start with the thinking tools. The number one tool that I have that any tester should be using every time they encounter any trouble, any problems, any opportunities is use your brain. You say, well, I don't know, maybe that's not the best tool on the list. Well, I think it is, because if testers want to improve their testing effectiveness, they can upgrade their thinking by using their brain. So don't discount the experience that you have as a tester. It's a fabulous teacher. Use that gray matter in between your ears to solve tough problems in testing, try new things, follow your tester's intuition. When you're exploring the software, innovate on your processes, making them faster, more reliable, and increasing the degree of quality. And you've already got the capability to do this. So I say the number one tool that you should start using is your brain. All right, moving on. MINDMUP. Testers who want to visually design tests and organize their testing ideas in an easy to understand format, MINDMAP is a great free tool that you can use to create new maps, collaborate with other people. It's cloud-based and it runs in Chrome and it has collaboration features. So one of my favorite things about this tool is that I can create a mind map, I can open it up, I can have other people collaborate on it. So whether they're remote workers or people just across the hall, on our team, we've done collaborative test design sessions using MINDMUP. We've also done test execution using mind maps and using this tool. It's just a really great tool. I know some people also like a tool called XMind. That's a great tool as well, but a lot of us happen to use MINDMUP because of those collaboration features. And you can find it out there at mindmup.com. Black box software testing courses. So if you are a tester that wants to grow your testing skills, take a black box software testing course. You can find it out at testingeducation.org. If you're new to testing or you want to shore up your testing skills, going through these courses built by Kem Kainer to help you understand the basics of software testing, learn how to advocate for bugs, including aspects of investigation and reporting techniques, and a survey course for black box testing techniques for designing tests can be found out here at testingeducation.org. So there's lectures, exercises, other things out there at testingeducation.org. The heuristic test strategy model. Okay, this one gets a Tim the Toolman seal of approval, because when I learned about the heuristic test strategy model, it transformed the way I tested. So if you're a tester that is looking for ways to assess the project environment, look at quality criteria, apply test techniques, and explore product elements, look at the heuristic test strategy model designed by James Bach. You can find it out at satisfice.com, and it will help you model a test strategy. It'll help you plan your project. It'll help you with test design. And within this model, they use for assessing the product elements, they use the SF Depot mnemonic. And that mnemonic is really great because you can go through and use it in a collaborative test design session with other testers, come up with test design ideas, and build your cases off those ideas. And we use this regularly when we're testing new features or new applications. Can't stress this enough. Please warm my heart today and go out to satisfice.com and take a look at the heuristic test strategy model. I'm continually amazed at the amount of testers that are out there. When I survey a group in a presentation, they don't know about this model, and they really should take a look at it. All right, let's move on to some tools that are focused on productivity. Google Hangouts. Hangouts are a great way for interacting with remote employees or doing group meetings where everyone is not in the same place. For those of you that might want to do collaboration sessions, whether you're doing test design or maybe you want to pair with another tester that might be remote or in another building, you can do that pulling up Google Hangouts, sharing your screen, having a chat. I use this to communicate with remote employees. I've used this to do collaborative test planning sessions and test design sessions. It works really, really great. I also created a Hangout for my team and made a bit.ly for that Hangout so that anybody can get on that Hangout anytime they want, whether it's a meeting or something else. And you can find this out at hangouts.google.com. Great way to interact with your team members when they're remote or can't be in the same place. LASTPASS. Here's another tool that gets the Tim the Toolman Taylor seal of approval. I came across LASTPASS because one of my testers was using it, and he said, this will really, really help you managing your passwords. And I started using it for both my personal stuff, work stuff, accounts for various applications that I needed to test. And it helped me remember every single application. It does a great job at recognizing password fields and login information. It's password management, plain and simple. And I actually went so far as to purchase the additional features that come along with that. I think it's like $1 a month to use those extra features where you can use it across all your mobile devices. And I just love LASTPASS. It saves me a ton of time to do my password management and not have to learn all the passwords all the time. And it can actually even dynamically generate passwords for you that are really have significant characteristics to those passwords. So LASTPASS. GenerateData.com. If you're a tester and you need some data right now, I would check out GenerateData.com. It lets you quickly generate custom data in a variety of formats for use in testing software, populating databases, and it has a bunch of different export options. You can see those down at the lower right-hand portion of the screen: CSV, Excel, HTML, JSON, SQL, XML. There's a variety of them that you can export it out to. So it's free open source tool written in JavaScript, PHP, and MySQL. It lets you generate large volumes of data, custom data in a variety of formats for the testing software. As I said, populating databases. Now, out of the box, you can generate up to, I believe it's somewhere around 100 records at a time and get this data out. And you can generate names, addresses, all kinds of different things. But it'll cost you about $20 if you want to generate up to 5,000 records at a time, but I've seen this save testers a lot of time just quickly generating the SQL scripts, XML files, Excel, wherever you need your data in whatever format. Generate data is a really neat tool to help get you there. All right, JING. This happens to be one of our tools at TechSmith, and I wouldn't include it on the list normally. However, we've gotten a lot of feedback from testers in different communities. Utest.com said it's one of their top-rated tools in the testing community for their testers to use and report bugs, capturing images and short videos of those. So if you're a tester, you want to do quick and easy screenshots, short videos, and effortlessly share them out, you can do that with a free account on screencast.com, connect it up to JING, and you can send people links of those images that you capture, both images and videos, capture your screen, do some basic edits to those images, annotations, put text on them, arrows, boxes, those types of things, and then host them out on screencast.com. You don't have to store them on your own machine. They'll be in the cloud, and you can find that out at techsmith.com/JING. TOGGL. This was a tool that was brought up to me by some testers when I did this presentation. They said they use TOGGL for tracking time. So you may be a tester that needs to keep track of your time management, and maybe you're doing billing of your time in a consulting role or other related role. TOGGL is a time tracker that's built for speed and ease of use. Time logging with TOGGL is simple. They claim that it drives a stake in the heart of timesheets. So with TOGGL, they say you can track in real time. You'll never lose a minute of that billable time. And if you forget to switch it on, you can go back and enter your time in later, track your time against projects or tag it, mark it as billable, and you can get reporting out from that. And basic tracking is free, and I know they have some premium features that you can pay for, but you can find this out at toggl.com. Trello. Okay, here's another tool that gets Tim the Toolman seal of approval as far as one of my best of the best. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on Google Apps. Never mind. Google Apps. I thought it was Trello. That's next. Google Apps. Again, this one gets Tim the Toolman seal. Any tester looking to for document creation, sharing with collaboration abilities. So I absolutely love the collaboration abilities in Google Apps, whether it's the documents, the spreadsheets, using forms for surveys, sharing slide presentations. You can have people working on a document at the same time seamlessly. I love Google Apps because of the collaboration features, and we use it oftentimes here in our work at TechSmith. If we have a quick and dirty spreadsheet that we need to spin up and do a quick team-based manual regression test, say, and you can get 30, 40, I think the limit is somewhere around 50 people into the same spreadsheet at the same time. And so it's great if you wanted to do something like a bug bash or a team regression test, getting a lot of people in a document at the same time. Haven't had that same experience with Microsoft's tools, but I really like the Google Apps for doing that. And creating simple surveys using their forms. We use those regularly, whether it may be surveying a collection of users or people internally. I just really love Google Apps for those collaboration capabilities. All right, now we're on to Trello. I misread my slide. Sorry about that. So Trello is a free, flexible, visual way of organizing anything with anyone, they claim. So I practice personal Kanban in my own work, and I use Trello personally for that. So the free version of Trello, you can just get on there and you can use it, and you can collaborate with a small group. They do have a paid team-based application that we also use here at TechSmith. So if you're a tester or you have a team that needs to organize your work tasks or organize your personal tasks in lists and use this tool for project collaboration, Trello is an awesome tool for doing that. So as I mentioned, our teams use it. The paid version for managing work using Kanban. I use it personally using personal Kanban for managing my work. My QA team uses it for managing our projects. As well, I manage all of my new employee onboarding and the employee's instruction in Trello. And also, my personal honey-do list at home is also in Trello. So all the projects that I've got to get done at home, if my wife recommends one, that goes in my personal Trello list, and I can manage that. So if you're a person that needs some organization in your life, Trello is one of my go-to tools, and Tim the Toolman supports that as well. All right, I want to take a pause here real quick and offer opportunity for those that are listening. A reminder, we need your help. You need to share your free tool recommendations in this webinar like this. So I'm sharing them out, the who, what, the where. So give us the tool name, what kind of tester need does it fulfill, what purpose can it be used for, what can I do with the tool, and where can I get it? So if you will post that in the comments, that will help us out greatly as we drive to our 40 plus tools in 60 minutes. So if you join this webinar late, you can go right to the chat window. Tell us your favorite, absolute favorite, best free testing tools. That's the catch. They got to be free, which I know that makes it a lot harder, but we're trying to get value to our listeners. So go out there in the chat session and tell us the tool, what kind of tester need does it fulfill, what can I do with it, and where can I find it. All right, so let's talk about some tools that we actually use in the process of testing. So for Mac users, I've heard a lot of great things about iTerm 2. It's a terminal emulator for the Mac OS that does what they claim to be some amazing things. So if you're viewing terminal windows on a Mac, it's great for looking at logs on multiple servers. It has split panes, a hotkey window, search, autocomplete, instant replay, multilingual support, shell integration, password manager, and more. So you can find iTerm 2 out at iterm2.com. Notepad++. So if you're a tester working on a Windows environment and you're in need of a more powerful text editor, Notepad++ is a free source code editor and a notepad replacement tool that supports several languages. As I said, it runs in the Windows environment. You can find it out at notepad++.org. I know many testers use this tool for not only as a text editor, but it's viewing some code, different kinds of files, and it just works really well. All right, so if you're a tester that does session-based test management, I've heard of this tool. I haven't personally used it yet, but I've heard of it. It's called Rapid Reporter. It allows you to have support in your session-based testing and managing your notes. So here's a screenshot of how the tool works. So it's a quick and easy note-taking that eliminates the need for handwritten notes when you're doing session-based testing, helps you focus on your test charter, has a screenshot button for easy screen grabs, keeps track of the time in your session, and has other features as well. You can see some of those over at the screenshot there on the right. What you're trying to test, what your charter is. You can extend your notes. It does time tracking for session-based test management and managing those exploratory tests. And you can find this out at testing.gershon.info/reporter. FIREEYES. So FIREEYES, if you're a tester that is doing some accessibility testing and you need some feedback for accessibility on the web, this is a FireBug plugin that runs with FireBug. FIREEYES helps you to review your test results, which includes details about specific standard violations, the capability to highlight the specific area of the page where the error is located, and to inspect that issue directly in your browser. Then you can go ahead and download the results as a report and kind of get that feedback. And you can find FIREEYES out at dq.com, products FIREEYES. BURP Suite. So BURP Suite is recommended by our testers that do web testing here at TechSmith. It's one of their go-to tools. And if you're a tester that needs to monitor network traffic or do some security testing, BURP Suite is an integrated platform for performing security testing of web applications. Its various tools work well together to support the entire testing process, from initial mapping and analysis of an application's attack surface through finding and exploiting those security vulnerabilities. So it's got proxy, spider, repeater, sequencer, decoder, and comparer. In the free edition, there's more functionality that you can purchase, but this is what's in the free edition. I know a lot of testers find the free edition is plenty for what they need, but you can find this at portswigger.net/burp. JMETER. So JMETER didn't used to be on my list, but I got so many people requesting that I throw it here on the list, so I've added it. So if you're doing performance testing, scaling performance tests in cross-platform, Apache JMETER is open source, 100% pure Java application designed to load test functional behavior and measure performance. It was originally designed for testing web applications, but has since been expanded to other test functions. Now it does HTTPS, it does SOAP and REST web services, FTP, database, works with LDAP, it works with mail, TCP, Java objects, native commands, and a variety of other things. So you can go out to jmeter.apache.org and check out JMETER. All right, check my links. So if you're a tester that's working with web pages and you need to quickly check all of the links on a page to see whether or not those links are functioning, you can get this Chrome extension called Check My Links. It finds all of the links on a web page, checks each one of them for you. It highlights the ones that are valid, which ones are broken, as simple as that. So it has HTTP response codes and full URLs of the broken links are published in a console log that you can find in Chrome Tools JavaScript console. I used to use a tool called Zenu's Link Sleuth, but over the past few years it hadn't been updated too much. So now Check My Links is my go-to tool for finding broken links. All right, so let's move on into some automation tools. Selenium WebDriver and the Selenium IDE. So if you want to create robust browser-based regression, automation suites and tests, if you want to scale and distribute scripts across those environments, the Selenium WebDriver can help you out. The Selenium IDE helps us with creating quick bug reproduction steps and create scripts to aid in automation-aided exploratory testing. So if you're a tester that wants to drive web browsers across platforms, you can create automated tests using the Selenium WebDriver and scale and distribute those across environments. So you can find that at seleniumhq.org. Cucumber. I know there are a lot of testers that are using Cucumber for their acceptance test-driven tests. So any tester that wants to either eat a zero-calorie vegetable and fall in love with automation, or you want to help work with your development team to create tests, Cucumber lets software development teams describe how software should behave in plain text. You can find it at cucumber.io, and I've included a screenshot here of the main page on the Cucumber website that talks about how you describe the behavior in plain text. You write a step definition in Ruby, you run and watch that step fail, you write the code to make the step pass, you run it again, you see it pass, and it says you repeat steps 2 through 5 until it's green like a cuke. So I know Cucumber is used by some of our web teams to do simple acceptance tests for automation. SOAPUI. So if you are a tester that needs to test web services and APIs, SOAPUI is an open source cross-platform functional testing tool for service-oriented architecture and web service testing. It's got an easy-to-use interface, has enterprise class features. I do know that there's some features that you have to purchase, but with SOAPUI, it allows you to do some of the basic things by executing automated functional regression, compliance, and load tests. You can find this at soapui.org, and this was a favorite tool of a few testers I used to work closely with, and they really, really enjoyed using SOAPUI for testing web services. POSTMAN. This tool was not originally on my list, but it was added after some conversations with testers that have said, you've got to get POSTMAN on the list. So it's here now. Any testers needing to test web services or APIs, you can supercharge your API workflow with POSTMAN, build, test, and document your APIs faster, and it also does REST testing for browsers. And this is at www.getpostman.com. All right, let's get into some other technical tools that can help us with our testing. FIREBUG. So focused testers feeling frankly fervent for Firefox flavor. That's a mouthful. FIREBUG integrates with Firefox to put a wealth of web development tools at your fingertips while you browse. You can edit, debug, and monitor CSS, HTML, and JavaScript live in any web page. And you can find it at getfirebug.com/what is FIREBUG. It's really helpful for beginners that want to look at code. So FIREBUG really helps with that. Process Monitor. So testers needing deep system monitoring capabilities. Process Monitor is an advanced monitoring tool for Windows that shows real-time file system registry and process thread activity. It combines the features of two legacy sysinternals utilities, FileMon and RegMon, and it adds an extensive list of enhancements that include rich and non-destructive filtering, comprehensive event properties. Here's a screenshot of Process Monitor over here. You can capture thread stacks for each operation, as reliable capture of the process details, configurable columns for any event properties. You can set filters as well, and has some advanced logging for capturing tens of millions of captured events and gigabytes of log data. So if you need a deep monitoring tool in Windows, check out Process Monitor. CCLEANER. So if you have a need to clean up the cache on your machine, CCLEANER cleans up unused files and settings, browser cache, cleans registry, and fixes errors and broken settings, and also can disable background programs. So you can find it at piriform.com/CCLEANER, and there is a professional version that includes more options, but I know a lot of testers that I've talked to, they use CCLEANER just for the basic functionality of cleaning up unused files and the registry and browser cache. You can find it at piriform.com/CCLEANER. All right, continuing to move along into some test management tools. Here's a couple that I've had some exposure to that are free for managing your tests. So Tarantula is a tool that they say is by testers for testers. So if you're a tester that needs a free test case management tool, Tarantula is a modern tool for managing software testing focused on agile projects. So it has test cases in there. You can do execution, requirements management, test management. It has tags and smart tags for efficient testing, real-time dashboard traceability. It also has integration with Jira, Bugzilla, and Doors. I've heard a lot about it. I've also used it as a free tool in one of the testing classes that I taught to get testers exposed to test management and what a tool might look like when they were in a class. And I was pretty happy with our experiences with it. And you can find it at testiatarantula.com. TESTLINK is also an open source test management tool. It is a free test case management tool. It has test plans in there, test cases, suites, execution, reporting. It provides detailed reporting with fairly easy management. I used to use TESTLINK several years ago. I haven't used it more recently, but when I did use it, it was a really good tool. It did test case management just fine. The reporting was good, and you could do some planning in there, and I was happy with my experiences with it. So if you're looking for an open source test case management utility, TESTLINK is one to check out, and you can find it at testlink.org. All right, I wanted to do a quick check on our audience participation. So I wanted to see, Smita, do we have any tools that have been shared by our audience so far?
I believe there are few which Peggy has sent in the messages. Did we have Slack on your list so far? No, right?
Okay, I did not have Slack on my list, but as far as a collaboration tool, I think Slack is an excellent tool for people to use. I used to use it pretty regularly, but we've moved on to FlowDoc, which is a paid tool internally here, but I know there's lots of people in the community testing channels in Slack that people can join and participate in. So yeah, that's a great tool to add to the
There's a
list.
Slack for team collaboration. There is ShareX for easy capture of screenshots and screen videos. Automatic upload to site, cloud folder, automatically or copied to your clipboard upon mouse release. Also allows you to assign hotkeys for different functions, and it's free to use.
Yeah, so I've heard of ShareX, so that's another tool I believe was shared out in my STP Con presentation at the last conference. People were talking about ShareX as a free screen capture utility as well.
And then there is LucidChart process mapping. It's called, it's at lucidchart.com.
LucidChart.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there is Send Anywhere, which it is to move files between different devices, transfer files between computers, devices across various platforms.
Awesome.
So it's send-anywhere.com.
Send-anywhere.
Yeah, and it's it says test lodge is good, and then there is sorry, but there is no link for it. Then there is Revo uninstaller, and there is one with there's an excellent tool for file manipulation that there's a link there, xnview.com/en/xnconvert hash downloads. Then there is Notepad++. I believe you've already covered that.
Yep, we covered Notepad++.
Yes. Then there is github.com/restassured/restassured. So I believe it's rest-assured. So I believe that's the tool. Yeah.
Okay.
And there is a Texter and Phrase Express, which is a text shortener.
Oh, interesting.
Texter and Phrase, yeah. It says Texter and Phrase Express. Then there is a Greenshot, Green, Greenshot. Then there is...
Yep, I'm familiar with Greenshot. Greenshot's another screenshot utility as well. So I know those happen to be near and dear to software testers' hearts because usually you have to capture your screen and report the issue and kind of do some annotations on that to convey the information.
And then there is Ice Cream Screen Recorder, and there is cloudconvert.com.
Cloud Convert, okay.
Yeah. Then there is Potshot, P-O-T-S-H-O-T, Potshot, which is an automatic screenshot at regular intervals.
Interesting. I haven't heard of that tool, but that would be a neat one to investigate. So it does a screenshot at regular intervals.
Yes, automatically. Gotcha. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then there is AutoIt. I believe it's called AutoIt, yes, for automation and tools creation. So it's www.autoitscript, autoitscript.com/site/. And then there is Akamai redirect tracking extension, which easily records and tracks all URL redirects in a link redirect path. Then there is portableapps.com, which lists all the portable apps. There is a huge list. Okay, then there is Sublime Text Tree. Let me know if we have enough time or we could just send them. Okay, we have two more, so we'll just do that. Okay. Sublime Text 3. It's an amazing cross-platform editor. Sublime Text 3. And then there is SOAP Sonar for SOAP API testing, which is crosschecknet.com. It's crosschecknet.com.
Okay. Why don't we move along? I've got a few other tools that I wanted to share out that didn't make my initial list that I want to add in here, and we'll come back. If people want to still share some tools, we still have time to get back to their tools, but I've actually incorporated some other slides in here. So I'm going to get through a couple of other ones here. These are some tools that didn't make my initial cut, but testers have mentioned them to me as their favorites. So Python, as far as creating scripting up some task automation, general purpose scripting. Python is a programming language that lets you work quickly and integrate systems more effectively. So that is another great tool that I know a lot of people tend to enjoy. ES File Explorer File Manager. This is another one that was mentioned to me by a few testers that said, if you're a mobile tester that wants to check out files, it's a file system viewer and modifier. ES File Explorer is a full-featured file with whether it's images, music, movies, documents, whatever, a manager for both local and network use, and you can find this out on the Google Store. We've also got Wireshark. So if you're a tester that needs to look at all different types of network traffic, this tool was mentioned to me as well at a presentation. It runs on Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Solaris, FreeBSD, NetBSD, and many others. So it is a multi-platform tool. It does deep inspection of hundreds of protocols, with more being added all the time, and it does live capture and also offline analysis. And you can look at several of these adapters because you can have multiple instances open at the same time. And so this was a favorite of a few testers I talked to, and you can find it out at wireshark.org. So I'll take a moment to pause here if you have any other tools you want to share, but I also have some screenshots of tools that were recommended at the last STPCon conference by the attendees in the session that I know we have a little bit of time to share out as well. So if you have a few more, we can kind of hit those as well.
Yeah, sure, Jess. We do have a couple of tools coming in. So there are just 3 of them, so I'll quickly tell them. One is Beartail for real-time log file monitoring, BARETAIL, Beartail, and the link is baremetalsoft.com/Beartail. Yeah, and then there is, I believe, SonarGuppy. It says multi-languages static code analysis. So it's www.sonarguppy, that is SONAR. I don't know if I can't read if it's G or U, but G or Q, but I think it's QUBE, so it will be SonarCube.
Oh, SonarCube, okay.
Yeah, so sonarcube.org, sorry, pardon me. And then there is POL, PERL, POL, for quick file log parsing, filtering, combining multi-file renames, etc. And the final one here I see is autohotkey.com.
All right, autohotkey.com. I've heard of that tool. I think you can go ahead and use it to set different hotkeys and have them fire. Yeah, well, let's move into a few tools. Feel free to still share tools if there's other people on there that have ones they want to share. Throw them in there. We can.
Yeah, there are a couple of them who just came in, so I'm going to quickly read them out for you. Yeah, it's Jenkins, which is https://jenkins.io, and it's the leading open source automation server. And then there is Testopia, which is a test case management extension for Bugzilla.
Great, great. I'm going to move into a few that were shared during the STPCon conference just last month when we met in Phoenix. I had some testers share out some, so I took some pictures on the wall of ones that people in the class had shared as their favorite tools. So there's a JSON formatter, works with JSON. There's also Fox for XML data, reading XML. And it looks like it was bcompare, works with flat files, JSON, and XML. And some of these tools you can just Google and find out more information on them, but if there's needs that you have, some of these tools should really be able to help you with those. If you're doing some UI testing and you're wanting to make sure that things look exactly right, there's a tool called Pixel Ruler. that you can use as a ruler on your screen that you can toggle back between vertical and horizontal, and you can find this out on cnet.com. There's a tool called Collab Edit, which is great for hosting, they said coding interviews, and supports syntax highlighting at collabedit.com. We've already talked about GreenShot. We'll move on here. Oh, lots and lots of tools. The more I do this talk, the more tools I get. At some point, I'm just going to have to make a giant list and make it available online. So Sublime Text, so for programmers or testers that need something, somebody said this is better than Notepad++. So if you are looking at Notepad++, you may also want to check out sublimetext.com. Transmission BT, torrent for internal use. MPutty, if you're a Linux developer or tester, is a multi-lab tool. I'm sorry, multi-tab tool. I'm trying to open Grok, Clumsy, got a couple of other ones for network-based testing, source code search, JExplorer, if you need to browse LDAP, you can take a look at that at jexplorer.org. Appium, this is one I think that's going to end up making its way onto the list. So if you're doing some automation with mobile apps, a mobile app automation tool that is cross-platform, cross-language, uses Selenium WebDriver behind the scenes, and you can find that out at appium.io. And it looks like this last one is rubilar.com. Rubilar. So if you're working with and having challenges with regular expressions, Rubilar is a tool to assist with that. Somebody put Excel on there, but I didn't put the Office tools on there because typically you get them free from your work environment, but you may not get all of them. So I typically don't include Microsoft Office, but for many of us on the Windows environments, that is a necessary tool for sure. UFT, a Unified Functional Tester for automation engineers and testers. Text Wrangler for Mac testers and devs. Upgraded and extended text editor with plugins and syntax related things. You can find that out on the Mac App Store. Capybara, WebDriver and wrapper for web testing, and you can find that out in github.com. People have mentioned Docker. Here's a tool that people had mentioned, Code Academy. So if you want to develop some additional skills with various programming languages, dealing with multiple languages, these are guided tutorials, and also have tool usage tutorials out on codeacademy.com. And in addition to using something like Google Forms for doing surveys, you can also use SurveyMonkey. So if you want to do feedback from customers, maybe you have a list of people internally or externally, you can do surveys and send those out to a group of people. And somebody in the session mentioned that they use this for getting customer feedback regularly and use SurveyMonkey for that. Just have a couple more here before we get into any questions. Eclipse, the Eclipse IDE, so you can integrate that with TestNG, Maven, and Selenium. Find that out at just Google Eclipse. Also, SlickUn, you can store shortcuts, and somebody also had mentioned Mouse Without Borders, and you can do a Google search for those. So those are just a few more tools that were shared within the STPCon 2017 spring presentation of this talk in Phoenix. And this list is growing. We're getting far more than 40, but I'm hoping that people will be able to just comb through these lists and be able to identify some tools that they just want to download and try. And hopefully you're in an environment where it allows you to play around with some of these tools, find out if they'll work for you, You could download them personally, I suppose, on your personal machines and just explore them and see what kind of benefit they will be. So I'll do another quick take to see if we have any additional tools that people have shared to add to our list before we kind of get into any particular questions.
Sure, Jess. So we have Discord for remote chat with team. We have Bamboo for continuous integrations. We have Visual Studio Code, which is a open source, it's a source code editor developed by Microsoft for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. It includes support for debugging, embedded Git control, syntax highlighting, intelligent code completion, snippets, and code refactoring. Then we have OpenDB-Diff, DIFF. It's a database comparison tool for Microsoft SQL Server. Then we have Fiddler, which is a web debugging proxy tool. And I'm sorry, I didn't mention the site for OpenDB-Diff. That is github.com/OpenDB-Diff/OpenDB-Diff. And for Fiddler, which is a web debugging proxy tool, it is Telerik.com. I think Telerik is under tool provider /Fiddler, FIDDLER. And then we have Atom.io. Atom is a desktop application built with HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and Node.js integration tool. We have Docker, which is containerized, which says containerized your test infrastructure, such as Selenium Grid. So it's probably again at github.com/seleniumhq/docker-selenium. We have All Pairs, which is a test case generator for pairwise testing. It's at satisfies.com/tools.shtml. It's your favorite site, Jess. So
yes,
good.
and I've used All Pairs tools, and those are really good tools for when you need to reduce your, you have multiple combinations of variables to test, and you need to reduce that down. All Pairs tools help out an awful lot with that.
Yeah. And then there is Mailinator, that is Mailinator, Mailinator for testing emails without having to create multiple email accounts. I think there is an Intern.js for automation, and Stash and Bitbucket for SCM. Okay. That is software configuration management. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know we far exceeded our 40 tools. I haven't been keeping an actual count, but we've got to be well into the 50s somewhere, if not to 60. And this typically happens. I love it when the audience participates because people are very, very passionate about the free tools that they find that add so much value to the way that they test, that adds efficiencies, that it helps them out. And I've just been so passionate about sharing these tools because I know how much it means when somebody finds that new tool that either saves them so much time or gives them information that helps their testing be so much better. And I just love to have an opportunities to share this information out.
Jess, can we go ahead with the questions? Or
sure.
You have, yeah. All right. We do have quite a few of them coming in, but I'll take a couple of them in the interest of time. And people can keep sending them, and if you still have more questions, probably we can, Software Test Pro team can actually send them to Jess and we can take it forward. Meanwhile, quick update, Jess, there is weekendtesting.com, which says there is a whole list of tools as well on that site. So it's weekendtesting.com. All right, so the questions are as follows. The number one, your tool number 9, which was JING, I believe Zing, okay. It seems to be a tool similar to Snagit, and both are TechSmith products. So what are the differences? And this is a question from our friend Mike.
Okay, thanks for the question, Mike. So I guess you could imagine that JING is it is a very entry-level screen capture utility. It can record short videos. There's a time limit on those videos. It does basically screen capture, very simple. And Snagit has been around for well over 20 years, has tons of features that I'm amazed when I talk to testers and they ask me questions about, well, can Snagit do this and you should add this feature in. They tell me all these features that should be in there and it can do those things. So I feel like when you're comparing JING to Snagit, it's kind of like comparing a bicycle to, I don't know, a 747, really, because Snagit has so many capabilities in there for setting up profiles, for screen capture, for recording video, for generating animated GIFs, for capturing system information. I mean, it's just, we've packed so much feature-rich information into Snagit that oftentimes people end up doing a trial of it and purchase it because they find out new things that it can do. So I did write an article on the top 5 features in Snagit for software testers. So if you just Google that, you'll get to see how you can, integrate with mobile, our mobile app, Fuse, a free mobile app, to get your information off your mobile device when you're doing screen captures there, upload them into Snagit, do annotations, and then share out to all kinds of outputs in Snagit. So I really would say that the biggest difference is that JING is made for a lightweight entry into screen capture, and Snagit is a fully featured screen capture program that allows you to do so much more than just screen capture, like a variety of captures, video, image, all different kinds of captures, all different kinds of editing functionality as well, and then tons of outputs to be able to share that information. So
yeah, I use Snagit all the time. I absolutely love it. So
thank you.
Okay, yeah, we'll move on to the next one, which says, are there any tools that you would recommend for reporting?
Well, it depends on what kind of reporting the asker is questioning. If is it reporting on tests, or it would be real helpful if I had a little bit of direction when it comes to reporting.
All right, maybe whoever asked it, if they could help Jess with exactly what kind of reporting we're looking for. Do you want to move on to the next question meanwhile, Jess?
I did see a little comment come in there for test reporting. So as far as reporting on their tests, it could be like reporting on your test or status reporting or those types of things. Here, I guess I'll answer that in a very general question. I do a presentation on visual communication in testing. I've done it at a number of conferences, and in that presentation, when I talk to people about reporting their tests and progress, I see in the notes here it talks about progress as well. I ask people, don't just give me a big long list and expect managers and project managers and other people to review a lot of text that you've written up. I encourage people to report their progress and test status and those types of things with a lightweight testing, like status report or progress report, using visuals. Now, I know if you Google the low-tech testing dashboard that James Bott created, that is a great tool to get started with reporting on progress and status with a really simple method, and it's a really great place to get started, because too often people have too much information they're trying to convey, and really you should use some visuals and communicate that information in a lightweight manner. So I'd Google low-tech testing dashboard as a start.
All right. So next one is, apart from Selenium, is there any tool to test ServiceNow application where we can automate test cases?
I'm afraid that question's probably a little bit beyond my level of expertise when it comes to test automation. I'm sorry about that.
We can actually get back to him, the person. Yeah, that's no problem. We can get back to the tester on this. There's another one which says, what tool has provided the most results in the shortest amount of time? In other words, which tool provides the biggest bang for the buck?
Well, since you're not spending any money on these tools, they're free. That's a really, that's kind of a tough question. It really depends on I guess the category of tools that you would look for. I'm in a practice manager role, so I spend a lot of my time helping make our other testers productive, helping to train them, help them learn new practices. So I would honestly say some of the tools that have helped us out the most have actually been testing practices, learning new ones like mob testing and pair testing. I mean, I know those are more like techniques, but if it's a tool that we can use to accomplish the work that we've got to get done, increase the collaboration on the team, and level up our knowledge and capabilities, I mean, that is a tool that really helps us.
All right. Another one is about the tool that you mentioned, which was probably number 7, generate data. Can it be integrated with automation tools?
I haven't seen anywhere where they've said that it can be integrated with automation tools. I know if you go on the website, you can play around with it a little bit and just see, but a lot of testers I know that have worked with it would go in there and be able to generate that, like make some selections as far as what they want. So there's some manual selection that goes into choosing the output that you want, but I haven't seen any integration with automated tools in there.
There is one tester who says that there weren't enough testing tools, there weren't any tools in relation to defect management. So is this due to there not being any worthwhile?
Wow, that's a really good piece of feedback. You know, I have given this presentation a number of times and nobody has ever brought up that there isn't a defect management tool on there. And, you know, I'm going to have to make a note of that and get a couple of those on here. Absolutely. Wow, nobody has mentioned those in any of the sessions I've done, so we're going to have to get a few. I mean, I did mention a few as far as integrating with like Bugzilla or a few of those, but I haven't specifically called out any in particular.
Right, so thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
So we have one final one that we're going to ask because you're running over time now. So do you suggest tools for testing for framework like RoboFramebook? Framebook, it says RoboFramebook. Which one is better? Because Robo have Selenium and APM inside.
I have not had experience using either one of those tools, so I wouldn't probably be the best person to answer that question. Sorry.
Okay, so I would take rest of the questions later on, Jess, but
okay.
There's one particular one which I would actually want to ask. The person says, I'm making a career change, new to IT testing, entry-level QA testing job needed, preferably wherever. So what he's wanting to know probably is there any specific tools that you would like to suggest for new people in testing, like something that they should start with?
If it's someone that's new getting into testing, I would really focus on the craft over trying to master tools and looking at some of those courses that I mentioned out at testingeducation.org and maybe looking at some of the sites like Code Academy for learning some aspects of tools as well as some programming, I think would really help out a lot. But I think the testing education courses are really great ones to start with. They're the black box software testing courses created by Kem Kainer, and they really give testers a really solid foundation to start with. And then other than that, I would start reading some really good books on software testing. I would look at Elizabeth Hendrickson's book, Explore It. One of my all-time favorite books is Lessons Learned in Software Testing. James Bach, Brett Petticord, and Kem Kainer wrote that one. I've continually gone back to that book for advice, and I would call it maybe therapy on dealing with testing in organizations.
All right. Thanks, Jess. Thanks for your time today. The session seemed like a power capsule of loads of tools information. I'm sure our attendees found it very informative and useful. So thanks again, and I hope to see you in Washington.
My pleasure.
All right. So well, everyone, this concludes our webinar for today. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being so participative, and thank you for asking so many questions. It was really great. Stay tuned for more webinars and online trainings coming soon. And if you haven't signed up yet for the upcoming webinar, which is Efficiencies in Testing by Melissa Tondi, do get out there and register. It's on the 26th of April. Thanks everyone. Have a great day. See you all in Washington.